got camera, we got audio. Let's jump in. All right, so what's going on, guys? This is gonna be a live stream. I hope the music is not too loud. Let me double check that. But all right, yeah, this is all right. We should be good. I always like to double check and make sure everything is good to go when it comes to the live stream, because I always have a habit of things going wrong. But anyway, in this live stream, we're gonna talk about, well, I want to have a conversation around, you know, the idea that you may deal with writer's block, or may not have, I guess you may have an idea and you're just like, damn, do I really want to start this project? Or damn, I don't know where to begin. Put it that way. Like, you're in a space where you want to create but you don't know where to begin, or you're just stuck. Like, I deal with being stuck all the time. Like, for instance, like there was something I wanted to film today out and about, but the location that I normally film at kind of closed. So I was like, you know what, let me jump onto a live stream, and also let me monitor the stream here. I like to monitor the streams because I'm only using one monitor, and I'm gonna make sure I mute the audio. I also want to make sure I can catch you guys in the chat and stuff like that. But nonetheless, a lot of times we get in this space where we want to create something, and it's like we're like, I don't know, it's like stuck. And I've been dealing with that. I've dealt with that in the past. And there's been some situations where I couldn't film the way I wanted to. Or let's say weather was an issue. And that happens a lot. Like, that happens more often than not, like where you're gonna run into these hurdles, right? I've dealt with it like a lot. And you know what ends up happening? You get like in this space where you don't want to create, right? You don't want to create anything. You don't want to, and it could be this thing. It could start off with like one little thing, you know, and that's it starts with one little thing, and then all of a sudden I'm not in that mode anymore. And then it becomes weeks, it becomes days, it comes months. And that's how I was. Like, I was like, yo, I want to create like videos. I want to make content. And that's kind of how I got into this idea where I want to start creating content around motivating people to create. You know, there's been some times, and I talked about this in tons of videos before, but the reason I came up with this idea to do this live stream is because of the very reason that I couldn't create today. Or I was like, damn, I don't want to create. I don't want to make a video. It just happens. Like, it could be one thing. It could be like, oh, you didn't charge your microphone. It could be like, oh, the lighting is terrible today, you know, in the spot that I really wanted to be at. It's crazy. Like, I have so many ideas like on this particular topic right now. I'm just thinking of so many ways that I've been distracted, or so many times where I'd be like, I'm not gonna do it today, you know. And that's a big part of the process, right? And obviously the journey is the destination. Like, you wanting to create content, the struggles, the not understanding certain things, and the writer's blocks, the journey is the destination. You going through that is like, if you can't go through that, like, one of my friends always tells me, you got to do those, and it's a metaphor, of course, you got to do those 10,000 hours, right? You got to do those 10,000 hours, because when you get those 10,000 viewers, like, what do, right? A lot of people, you know, like myself, I always want, like, when I started streaming on Twitch years ago, I always was like, damn, I want to grow my viewership. But it's like, you grow that viewership, right? You grow that viewership, and then you have it, right? How are you going to entertain? Like, how are you going to, if you can't talk to one, how are you going to talk to 100? Or how are you going to talk to 100,000? You know, you have to be able to go through these growing pains, and that's why I had to tell myself I have to go through these growing pains or these challenges, and I think of it not as a challenge. I think of it as an opportunity. It's an opportunity for me to grow, right? It's an opportunity for you to grow like into someone who can say, all right, this is not working out properly. This didn't work. We have to change direction. You know, let's say you lose all the footage that you have, right? Let's say you're recording, and for instance, I use the Osmo Pocket 3 for my webcam and my vlogging cam. But let's say you accidentally held that, you were like trying to like stop recording, but you held that record button way too long and you lost all your footage. You've been recording for about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, and you got the perfect take, and it's hot or it's raining, and you're just like, what do you do then, right? So that's why these little bumps in the road are just ways. I'm telling you, these are just ways for you to just navigate that. And I was like, I wanted to film today, right? And I'm going back to the reason why I'm doing this live stream. And I encourage you, like, if you are trying to create content and you get stuck on something like the lighting, the audio, the camera confidence and stuff like that, I just encourage you to just try the live, like try going live and talking about anything, anything that you feel, because what's gonna happen, right? And this is a cool thing about live streams. Like it's like the news. Like once it's live and it's on, you're live. There's gonna be mistakes. But if you treat it like a news like the weather or like the sports or like the news at 7 or whatever time it comes on. I haven't watched the news in forever, but if you do that, you'll take your time on how you speak, or you'll take a pause. Like it's okay to pause. Like you could tell your channel, like, oh, let me think about that, right? Take a sip of water, right? And it allows you to get yourself together, but also it gives you practice and all these skills in adapting, right? It allows you to get comfortable with mistakes. There's no takes in live streams. There's no takes on the news. So once you're on and teleprompters in front of you, and obviously you're not going to use, some people, you could use a teleprompter during your live stream if you have a plan, but once you're live, you're live. And what's cool about being live, right? Let's say you live stream in a setup like this where you have your computer, or if you don't, let's say you live stream on your phone. Let's say you could have some bullet points on what you want to talk about, or you could set up an iPad. You could set up a piece of paper with things you want to talk about. Obviously you'll interact with the chat. And even then, even if there's no one there, right? You could this allows you to have an open dialogue and practice, or even you could record that live stream or download that VOD after and make it into clips. There's so many ways to navigate that, navigate writer's block or not having a direction on where you want to go. That's easy. Like this is all live. Like this is all happening now. So if you're stuck and you want to make a video, you want to create some content, I think it's tough. Like the camera part, I'm telling you, this the only way you can beat that part is if you just do it. It's hard. I'm not gonna say it's easy. It's hard to navigate talking to a camera, but once you get past that and you don't have an idea, you developed a community. So you're developing a community. So a lot of people forget about this YouTube aspect of the posting aspect. You can discuss those things. People want people want real, right? And if you're telling your audience like you're stuck, that's okay. Days around Florida, what's up, man? What is going on? Welcome in. I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, man. Like, be open to share what you're feeling, because at the end of the day, you're still human. I appreciate you tuning in, man, seriously. But be open to share how you feel. Like, we all get tired, we all work hard, we all face adversity, we all face these things. And that's how you build community, not around not showing real emotion, you know. And that's why I started to add more. I'm starting to add more live streams to the channel, because instead of me, you know, taking a day off from creating something, why not practice? This is me practicing talking to the camera, like naturally. You know, it allows me to, you know, connect with the channel and allow open conversation. I tried writing a script or a basic guide for my videos and found I couldn't keep on track that way. I just started recording life as it happens, and that's what it's about. Just talking. There's nothing wrong with scripting, but if you feel comfortable, right? If you feel comfortable just talking like this, just about how you're feeling, about what happened, that's like genuinely reality content. That's real. And I'm not gonna say people don't like, you know, scripted content. It's okay. But, you know, for me, when I see someone creating content and I can tell that they're looking directly at a script and their eyes are veering off in different directions, you know, there's nothing wrong with just saying, you know what, I'm gonna read some notes from my phone, right? Like, you know what? And here's another thing, right? That comes off natural, but it's like, if you're like here, obviously there's teleprompters, but I mean, just for me, you know, I'm gonna be now that I'm in this creative space, I'm gonna be cognizant of someone reading a script, right? Daniel, what's up, man? What is going on? Welcome in. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? I appreciate you guys and gals being here. You know, I really appreciate that. It helps me because it's like, in this situation, I like, and this is why I encourage y'all to do add a little bit of live stream seasoning to your content, because it allows you to, you know, anything can happen on a live stream, right? You know, let's say this light turns off, my camera malfunctions, you know, I'll learn something from someone, or somebody will tell me about an experience, and it allows me to learn. We get tired of reshooting the same thing because I didn't feel it came out the way it seemed on paper. Then it just became fake. I agree. I think it's okay to like do a couple of takes around your hook. Like, your hook is like how we get people in the door. You know, I would overproduce a thumbnail. That's what I would do. I would overproduce a thumbnail or produce a hook. Those two things I'm trying to get better at. I want to actively practice. I've been practicing my thumbnails. I've been practicing the first few minutes of the hook, or first 30 seconds, because that's kind of how you get people in the door. But yeah, that's true. It does come off, you know, internally. I feel like it's fake, you know. It's like, just some people, I mean, to each his own, right? I don't know what I don't know, but what I feel is like, I feel like I personally, just hook thumbnails should be the most overproduced things, because that's like your it's like you go on Google and you look for something like, let's say, a shirt or a chain or a headset. Like, that first image, that little box, is what you get the impression of, and then the first thing you see when you click on that little thumbnail is like, all right, this is the product and how it's presented, the images, people wearing it. You know, that's how I I kind of balance my importance level when it comes to creating now. Yeah, I mean, thumbnail, like I would say like is up there, and then you know how you speak when the person first clicks in is kind of, you know, kind of gauges if the person wants to stay or not. But yeah, man, the fact that y'all are talking, Dennis is good to see you again. Same here, good to see you. Sorry, I'm like, this is just such a great topic that I'm just like talking, and y'all know I could talk. I agreed. I did a take, kept redoing it, and it became unnatural. Mistake is I deleted the original one, which is better. Yeah, I mean, it's okay to like shoot. If you like, let's say you're shooting, right? Keep some of the takes, because like for the hook, or just keep some of the takes, you know, delete, you know, when you get home or wherever you shoot, or when you finally get to that part where you're looking at your footage, it's okay to just, all right, I'm gonna go through everything, review it, then you could delete later on. You don't want to accidentally delete the whole entire footage that you have, or something that's really good. No, that's okay. No, you're all right. Don't worry, man. Listen, that's understandable. Like, either if it's the video or any piece of content you film while you're out, right? I made a mistake of deleting a whole video before, so I'm not deleting anything until I get home. Once my camera is docked on my computer or my PC, I'm in the folder. Once I hit DCIM, then I'll go through and decide what I want. Because even if I delete, it'll go into the recycling bin and I could recover, right? It might be my personal preference, but I connect better with real creators like you and Lewis Hermosillo. Real people sharing real info about real life. Yeah, I love his stuff. I just, you know what's funny? I just found him. I was watching, I was Googling, I was YouTubing like some just DJI vlogs just to get some ideas. And I did find his channel. Chris Meets Chris. I see, you know what's funny? Like after I did the video around those two creators came with my feed. I had bought, I think it was the Action 5. I think I bought the Action 5, and I believe, I'm trying to think. And I returned it, and then I found his page. I found their pages, and I just recently subscribed to the channel. It's wild. Hold on a second. I just got a phone call. I don't know if it's spam. You guys get spam calls? I get them all day, every day. Hold on. I'm trying to see if this is real or not. Hold on. I'm going through the process of looking at the text. Yeah, it's junk. It is junk. Anyway, my bad, y'all. But yeah, I love the Pixel. I'm telling you, I can't wait for the new one to come out, the 10. Great camera. Great front-facing camera. I love that front-facing camera. If you create content and you just want to use your phone, I saw it. I went to a Best Buy and I opened up the front-facing camera. I was like, and I think it's like 48 megapixels, right? I came across your channel as a recommendation off of one of his videos. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm telling you, YouTube, man. YouTube, you gotta create. Oh, the rear's what's the front facing? The rear's 48. I must have misread the specs on that little call out card in Best Buy. But man, YouTube is great at recommending, and this is why I tell y'all to create. Those are some big channels, man. You have the 7. That Pixel, I feel like the Pixel, when I had the Pixel 1, and this is when I first got Verizon, and oh man, the way they designed that first Pixel was like so simple. I think there was a fingerprint sensor on the back of the phone. Maybe 9 is 48. Are you liking the DJI Flow? You mean the gimbal? The Flow? Oh, honestly, I've been so busy with work. I've used it all day that day after the live stream, but it's good. I think someone mentioned the other gimbal. What is it? The Hohem. I think that little screen on that is all it's missing. The Hohem. Yeah, I think, yeah, that was you. Okay. I think y'all both of y'all mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it. I seen it twice in the chat in the last live stream, I believe. Either way, that's all it's missing. I think I'm so used to having the Alto Pocket 3 screens right here. So like I have my live streaming software here. I have obviously a preview that I'm looking at just in case to make sure there's any issues with quality, but I'm looking directly at the lens of the DJI and I'm looking at this screen. I feel like that screen, man, if they add a screen for the next one, that would be a pro. Like let's say they do like the DJI Mobile Pro or E and make that, these gimbals are great. I think getting these weird messages about my car insurance. Like I don't know, but nonetheless, I think if they add those screens, because the thing is, I want to use this camera, right? The back camera, right? And there's nothing wrong with using the front because they're getting great. They're getting really good. But it's like, obviously you have the tracking system and that's great. But it's like, there's nothing like seeing where you're at, and having grid lines and stuff. So I know, what do you do? I work in tech and I help people. That's like, so I work with, I would say like computers and phones and stuff like that. And, I work in the tech industry, put it that way. But yeah, that's the only thing that's missing. I feel like if I had that screen, I want to try that. I want to try that gimbal, but it is pricey. If Hohem's listening, want to do a collaboration. Oh man. But yeah, I work in the tech industry. I work with phones. I work with laptops. I work with products. So that's why I have this aspiration to want to create and stuff like that. But yeah, that gimbal, how much is that gimbal? There's a screen by Ulanzi that connects and I attach it and use it in the rear camera. Said, wait, are you the guy? That guy that always asks me if you try turning an iron off and unplugged it. No, honestly, that's insulting. I wouldn't tell someone that. I would personally just grab it and turn it on and off, like first. Just because I have I like to replicate issues, out of respect for the person I'm working with, right? Yeah, Ulanzi makes a lot of products, man. They make a lot of products. Okay, Apple or Surface Pro laptop. I saw the Surface. I loved it. I love their aesthetic. And damn, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter. I think I could use either or, because you know what? Surface has that connected device feature. It's like you could the workflow is pretty much simple. I also like how Samsung has Samsung Flow, where you can send stuff directly to Windows and Mac and stuff like that. So I could work with anything. Yeah, you know what it is? So the other day, right, I was using my gimbal, right, and I was using my phone, and I opened my camera, and the camera kept pulsating. Like, it, when I was using cinematic mode on the phone, it kept doing this thing where it would go light, it would go dark. So I checked at 4K, I closed the app, and then I was like, all right, I got to restart it, because it wouldn't go away. It kept doing this little flicker with the light, and I was like, don't tell me my camera's damaged. And I was like, I looked at the camera, and it's like, it wasn't damaged, but then it also could happen with shake. So I just turned the phone on and off, and then it worked. But it's one of those things, right? That's like the baseline for troubleshooting. And it sounds weird, but it's 9 times out of 10 it does work. But then the other time it could be environmental, it could be physical hardware, it could be anything. But I like to start with that because it's like, it avoids tech calls, it avoids going into the store and doing unnecessary repair. And it's like, who wants to spend their day in the store on their day off, right? But if I had it my way, I would, Surface or Apple, I just feel like I would, you know, I love Apple products. I love how long they last. But yeah. Terry, what's up, man? What are we talking about, bro? I'm on this flight. Tune in real quick. All right, man. Safe travels, man. I appreciate you tuning in. We're talking about a little bit of everything, but the main topic is kind of how we deal with block and writer's block, and just, I'm just recommending people trying out live streaming as a good place to talk about, the ups and downs and stuff like that. You don't have to always talk about good things. You can talk about the bad. It's kind of how we get through it. But safe travels, man. Definitely want you to come back, man. Come back and put out some of that content, man. Dave says, if I'm calling for help, I'm well past restarting and rebooting. Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You don't lead with that. You want to get the reason for the call and what let the end user talk about where they're at and that troubleshooting. Because it's, if you come out and say that, it's a little jarring, especially if someone is frustrated in the situation. Now, if you try a couple of steps and you try those couple of steps, past the reboot process, then let's try and do a reboot real quick. I want to try one more thing. It's kind of how you say it. It's almost the delivery is the most important thing. It's like, you could say it after you tried other things, but it's all about that delivery. It's all about the delivery. It's like you got to put yourself in somebody else's shoes, right? I did a live stream the other night for an hour and didn't get one viewer, but it was great practice on running OBS and getting comfortable on the camera live. Yeah, listen, that's what it's about, man. Let me tell you, that's what it's about. I'm telling you, I can't stress it enough, because what I do, right? And I genuinely appreciate everyone that tunes in. But what I do is, when I first start, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, I got my light, I got my camera, and then I just start talking. And if you talk like there's like thousands of people watching, and you practice it and you do it over and over, you change like scenery, you change lighting, you do it enough where it's like, it just comes natural, and you accidentally just build this thing where it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do it because I want to, not because who's there, not how many people are there. You're there for the viewers, of course, but it's all about the practice and the reps. It's all about that. I usually use AI to give me a bit when I'm having writer's block, start talking with it like conversation. It feels like I'm talking to someone, and then I go, yeah, you go do it in front of it. Camera, remembering chat. These things, when you use AI as a tool, and you know, a lot of people, what I'm seeing from the YouTube videos, because there's a lot of videos about AI right now. What they're doing is like, people are creating content saying, write me a viral title, write me. You got to use this thing like a tool, you know. And there's ways to just say, oh, give me three ideas for a bicep workout, you know. Those things that are close-ended, you know, questions, right? Like, oh, is it better to have chicken or steak for you know, those close-ended questions are good for AI, but you got to talk to it like it's a friend. Other side, what's going on? Have to run, but glad I caught you live. Keep doing you and keep it real. Have a great weekend. You have a great weekend as well. Thank you for tuning in, man. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, like, you know, that's another great idea. Like, if you're stuck with writer's block, you could use AI, right? You could use Gemini. You could even use Google or use YouTube. You know, if you have an idea that you want to come up with, why not just, you know, put it into YouTube and you know, do a little YouTube university, take some notes, get some ideas, you know. It's so funny, y'all mentioned Louis Hermosillo and Chris Meets Crits. When I got these cameras, you know what, I genuinely saw their content because I started looking up their cameras. Then Terry's videos I started getting recommended because Terry was doing things with the action 4, and then all these things. It's a community of people that have the similar ideas, but then you accidentally stumble upon their content, and that's kind of how you generate organic views because you're just using the products. You know, no one told me about their page. Other side says, yeah, you have to give AI targeted prompts to get concise ideas. And that's like with anything else, you know, with Google and, you know, and it's funny, Yahoo, who's doing a Yahoo search, who's doing a Bing search. It's just because they're just putting in all this information from other people's searches from YouTube and everything else. And it's like, you're getting, I'm pretty sure y'all content that y'all create is being recommended on Google right now because you created a video on how to do this, how to try this, how to experience that. This is all, it's all about, that's, I mean, it's funny enough, it's all social media. It's all media. Also, if y'all are creating content, if y'all are making these YouTube videos, make sure y'all drink y'all water, because y'all not gonna be able to talk if y'all not hydrated. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, these are all ways, like YouTube search, AI, that's a great idea. Consuming content in your niche. I think Terry had told me that a couple of days back. If you consume content in your niche, even if it's someone with 100,000 subscribers, 2 million subscribers, someone with 50 subscribers, 40, no matter what it is, if you're consuming content within your niche, you're gonna brainstorm and get tons of ideas. Let me lock this in here. But yeah, you sound like my wife. Drink water, you're dehydrated. Listen, I'm telling you, water fixes everything, man. And plus, I just worked out, and that's another thing. Drink your water for sure, but working out, going for a walk, going for a jog, going for a run. You got 15 minutes, man. If you do some whatever you can do to kind of get the blood flowing and get your mind into creating. It's tons of ways. I always like to do a workout, or if I'm talking to one of my close friends and we hyped about something, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna create a video. You may find an idea from something that you don't like. Like that video I did about Best Buy and my experience and me returning a camera, I was really like, I was livid. And I'm telling you, the video, it was gonna be one of these long videos where I was just gonna talk. I was gonna give Best Buy hell, but I was like, you know what? I was like, let me just sprinkle it in there, because you know, I do love Best Buy's products, you know, and they're all over they're all over New York City. So the only way I'm gonna get my hands on the products, because they're open in all these different places, you know, B&H Photos there, you know, Micro Center's here, but there's always a Best Buy. So I gotta keep it, you know, keep it chill. But talking about your experiences is another way. Talking about your experiences is another way. I'm telling y'all, that's another way. Because it's like your experience is one-to-one, right? People may have bad experiences here, but your actual experience somewhere or somehow, or like, let's say you had a bad experience with the software on a product. It's like, those are ways to deal with it, like in the moment. If you're like, oh, I don't, you know, I want to create this video, but I'm going through this, you know, that's how to create a video, even though you're struggling with this. How to create a video if you're working, you know, those are all ideas. When you start to shift your mindset, like, and I think me and Terry were talking about this one time, where if you think about things, and I hate, you know, it's annoying because I mean, your friends, your family, they're gonna be like, are you always thinking about content? But listen, I'm trying to get better at this. But if you take your mindset and say, you know what, I could create a video idea on this, pull out your phone, put it in the notes, because I forget everything. I don't know about y'all, but I be forgetting everything. Like, those are simple ways. This is not easy, you know. It is like, I think from now on, if I'm not making a video, because I be wanting to make videos like twice a day if I have the time, like one before work, one after, and if I'm off, I want to create too. But sometimes there's challenges. There's real challenges. Like the biggest challenge for me in the beginning was like confidence. You know, will somebody watch it? Will somebody, if I pause and I take a moment to think, will they click off? If I say a lot, you know, how's the camera gonna look? And that's another thing, right? When you get stuck, like when you're like, you know, I want to make this video, but practice working on the gear. You bought that gear, that camera. Try and like tweak the settings. Do a deep dive. You know, go through all your footage. Like, I'm pretty sure y'all got a bunch of footage lying around somewhere, and you need to do some cleaning. Because this laptop right here, it's got tons of vids. It's stuck. Let me know what y'all do. Do y'all save all your vids, you know, once you post it, or do you delete? Right now I'm in a space where I'm keeping some of the vids where the days are a little bit sunnier, so I could use those as B-roll, or say, you know, so, but I leave it. My wife says it makes it authentic. Yeah. listen, leave that in there. You know, let's say you take a long period, or you completely fumble over your words. Cut that out, right? But sometimes, like I did that video, the video I did yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna go 20 minutes. I'm gonna just record. I think it was like 20, and that's one of my longer videos. But you know, the simplified workflow is the best workflow to have. Simple camera, simple microphone. You got lighting outside, wherever you got lighting, and then just recording. And that's why I like the live stream, because if you're on here, you're on. The parts where I go to drink water, the parts where I'm playing with my hair, the parts where I'm fixing my hat, fixing the mic, that's all. We can't take that out. I'm telling you, the one takers is just, the one takers are good. I feel like, and I think that's right. It was right around like December, January, where YouTube started showing me more content that was more authentic. And it was just, I think it's more, I think it allowed me to feel comfortable to create, if that makes sense. It made me feel comfortable, made me feel like, all right, I could do videos like that too. Like I could sit in my car and talk about how I'm feeling. There's nothing wrong with that now. So I'm gonna jump in. That was a perfect opportunity. And that's when I was like, I can do this. And I want y'all to feel the same way. I want y'all to be able to feel like I can create. You could just use this. That's why I did that video yesterday. I was like, all you need is this, and just, I mean, you could even set it up on the dashboard. You know, let's say you could even get a book. You can get a book. And speaking of books, I want to show you a book that I really, you know, I read and I'm gonna read again. Give me one sec. This is not a sponsored video or anything like that. This is just a book I bought with my own money. I want to just make that clear. But if y'all, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's probably reversed on the screen because I'm looking at it because I flipped my screen. But Atomic Habits, I'm telling y'all, it's not a long book. But Atomic Habits. I think you can get it. They also have an audiobook. I think he has an audiobook too. But I purchased this book last year, around December, and this is when I was like, all right, I gotta get consistent. But one thing I got from this book, and I'll share this with y'all. This is the reason I brought this up. I'm getting there. If, let's say for instance, you film every day for 5 minutes, right? And I bring this up a lot. If you film every day for 5 minutes, and the next week you do like, you film every day for like 10 minutes, or even like you take 1 minute and you film. The idea is just to build a habit, and you take one tiny step. One tiny step is one step towards greatness. So if it's 1 minute, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, and you do it every single day, I'm telling y'all, it's those tiny little habits that develop these great, like, monumental movements. And that's how I started creating on YouTube. I was like, I saw that video, I saw how simple it was. You know, it's like, I hear this all the time, like, slow motion is better than no motion at all. I'm telling y'all, yes, incremental progress, like just tiny little movements. Like a lot of times I'll be like, yo, I want to do the laundry. Oh, I don't want to do it. Just do it anyway. Do one load of laundry. He's like, oh, I don't want to work out. Work out 15 minutes. Boom. Work out 15 minutes at the beginning of the day. Work out 15 minutes at the end of the day. That's how I started creating those videos in the fall. In the wintertime, I was making videos right before work. I was like, I will go grab my coffee, grab water, I'll work out, boom, make the video. And then I made it a routine. And then I started making mad videos. I was like, oh, I'm making so many videos because I just started building this little momentum. And then I turned around, I got like 100 and something plus videos. And then I remember Right. It creates muscle memory. I'm telling you, you do one and then you're going to want to do another one. You're going to want to do another one. You're going to want to do another one. Like it just like one more time, man. You're going to want to keep creating, going to keep, it's crazy. I started losing weight. And then I started to have a library of videos. And sometimes I wouldn't even, that's why I love the non-scripted, non-edited, because it allowed me to build this, I guess you would say this momentum, that muscle memory, like Other Side said. It just allowed me to just dial in. And there wasn't, I was like, I'm gonna make a video. That's my routine. It became like brushing teeth. I was like, I get up, brush my teeth. You know what I'm saying? You get up, go to the gym. I couldn't go to the gym because I was pressed for time because I want to make my video. I work out here. I went on YouTube. I have some both weights that I had bought during the pandemic. I was working out. I started doing, and I say all this, I don't want to get too like into the weeds, but you do these tiny things, you create this huge shift. And that's why I bring up the book Atomic Habits. This book was literally the book that did it for me. It did it for me. And obviously to each his own, but I'm telling you, you take one tiny minute out of your day and say, I'm a work on creation. You could make a YouTube short. You go live. You could create a post. You could answer somebody's comment. That's why I be answering the comments right away. Because it's just, I built this momentum, and I'm so thankful. Like I blinked. I'm so grateful for y'all, man. Like we're on our way. We are on our way. We hit 600 plus subscribers on the channel, right? And it's all because of consistency and y'all. Like, and it don't have to be, it's as simple as the best way right now. This overwork stuff, this overcomplicated. Of course I'm gonna edit videos. Of course you're gonna edit videos. Of course you're gonna make thumbnails. Of course you're gonna, but it's the simple stuff, man. It's the simple stuff. I want to do that now. Before I felt my niche was limited me until just recently. Good bad habits both come from small patterns formed over time. Right. Come on, man. Come on. That's how when I started doing TikTok, when I used to do TikTok, I used to be heavy into gaming, and I still am, but I was creating content that way. But every time I jumped on the game, I went live. And lo and behold, like I started building, and it just popped off. And it's just those habits. And when you have these bad habits and good habits, when you have a spur of time where you just go, you do all these good habits. When you do one bad, you like, damn, I was supposed to create a video. I was supposed to go live. I was supposed to work out. And the thing is, what ends up happening when you do it over and over and over, you have one day off where you missed the mark a little bit. You're like, you know what? One day is okay. And I also felt my niche. I feel I niched down too much. I feel like I'm niching up. Listen, it's okay. Like I'm trying everything. So if you dial in a couple of videos where you're talking about, let's say, a camera, because I talk about the cameras, I'm using that as an example. And then all of a sudden you start talking about your personal development, or you start talking about, like I did a unboxing of a phone. It's anything you try, at least you're trying. Even if you stay within your niche, or you all of a sudden, hey, listen guys, today we're going to talk about I'm going to talk about remotes, or I'm going to talk about mouses today. You're doing something. There's tons of people that, from the sideline, and that could also, I also have, doubt within as well. But let's say you know, there's people that give you that, you know, that feedback. Oh, you know, that's all right. You're there on the sideline. You're here. You're on this camera. You're creating. Not too many people can do that. You know, even if no one says anything. But let me tell you something, my friend. You are creating, and people are sitting on the sideline. I forgot when it was a tennis match a while ago, and I think one tennis player was being heckled. I think it was by Ben Stiller. Ben Stiller was heckling someone in a tennis match, or somebody was heckling someone in a tennis match, and he was like, "Do you play tennis? You want to come down here and play? All right then." And that's what it is. Like, and you know, I don't really know the details of that tennis situation, but I saw a short about it. But you are here. You are here. This is you. You are here. So anything you decide, like, you remember, you're the director, and I always say that in my videos. You're the director. You are in charge. You're the foreman. You decide what goes on in this company. You know, there's gonna be some people that, you know, and I think the way I deal with that is if the feedback is not constructive, if the feedback is not in a good place, I'm sorry. I'm not here for negativity. It's already hard for me to create. You know, it's different when it's like, oh, you know, there's a correction. It's actually not water resistant, or, oh, it does, this mic, you know, doesn't work with this. You know, that's real. You know, I'm open to constructive feedback all the time. Like, oh, hey, you know, this light is too bright. Those are things that are genuine, right? And this goes back to the writer's block thing. I got to deal with writer's block. I got to deal with all of these things. This is hard, you know? But at the end of the day, like, you're in charge. You decide what happens here, not someone else. The beauty of the current space is we all have overlapping interests, which allows creators to explore a wider range of topics under one umbrella. And that's true. There's so many ways that you can take this camera. You can get into pro, you can get into this. So I can name tons of things. You can review products. You can use a product to talk about life experience. You can use a product to talk about, you know, your fitness journey. And I always talk about fitness, financial, and stuff like that, because those are things I'm always like locked in on. There's people that review books. You could use a camera to review a book. You could do a vlog about going to a bookstore, getting your haul on books. Like, you haul, you know, you could talk about you there's so many things you could do. It's like the thing is, right? My point is that the fact that you can explore this space is limitless. It's all up here, whatever you decide, right? And that's what it's about. Like, it's just doing it. The idea of doing it, creating. So Daniel, I wouldn't feel too bad about that. You know, I've changed. You know, I kind of figured out where I want to be, but I know that this may change. My goal here with this channel is to motivate people to create content, so I can motivate myself to get better at creating content, and also having an experience with tech products, whether it be cameras, whether it be phones, whether it be, you know, cars, whether it be, you know, microphones, you know. And that's very broad, right? You know, it's broad. You know, who knows? Maybe one day I'll start doing like fitness product reviews. You know, the thing is, that's what happens when you're in charge. You can do whatever you want. But there may be, like, I get it. Like, in my mind, sometimes I before I do a video, I think about the perception and how it would be perceived. And that's within, right? And that's kind of how I ended up here in this live stream. I was like, damn, I have a space where I normally film, but it's closed today. And it's kind of how you adapt. It's like how you adapt from you know, either the writer's block or the things changing, or you know, I think I did a video about this as well, and it was raining. It was a video that I was in the park, it was raining. Well, it was sunny, then it started raining, and I was like, I'm not gonna do this video. How I'm gonna do it, you know? I really like, and it sucks that some, like when I use the action cameras, like the Action 4, the Action 5, I do realize I need light. I need a lot of light, and I could make a purchase and buy like a light for my, you know, whatever. But in the moment, I'm like, damn, this video's not gonna come out good because the light is not the best in my truck. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna still make this video because things happen, right? You may have had a bad day at work. You may have left your camera at home, like your pocket cam, whatever it is. You may be like, I don't want to create because, you know, there's so many people around. There's so many things. There's so many variables, and I'm just talking about things that I've experienced. Right. You other side, man. You dropping some gems today, man. My man is dropping some bombs. Some bombs today. Yeah, like you have to push. You have to push. And then it's like when you have that one day, let's say you created 6 pieces of content for the week, and that's a lot. And then that 7th day, and I've done that. Created like for some days, some weeks I've created 7 days a week. It'd be 5 minutes, it'd be 10 minutes. It'd just be things, and that's why I like having this new generation of YouTube. And I say new generation, I guess I've finally got a taste of it, of people creating videos on their experiences and just talking to the camera, sitting it down, listen, sitting down at a park bench and talking to a camera about, like, listen, I want to create a video, but I can't because I'm going through X, I'm going through Y, I'm going through Z. That's the new, with all this AI stuff along the horizon, that's the stuff I want to consume. Like, man, I went and bought this phone, and this I don't like this. You know, I'll watch an unboxing, you know, like from like MKBHD, but when someone tells me, listen, I'm telling you, I bought this phone, and these content creators, they're telling y'all this, but my experience is this. Those are things that you want to talk about. In like other side said, push through the resistance. Use that as fuel to create content. If you want to create content and you're passionate about it, use these things. Use these growing pains. Use these tough times. Like I'm telling y'all, when we did the live stream, we were talking about my first video. I went through a tough time. I went through a real tough time. I was going through it, you know, and this content creation thing, this YouTube thing became my comfort space. That's why I started creating videos in the car, because I was like, I would go for walks, I would be going to the gym, but I was like, I wanted to talk about how I felt. And a lot of those videos were, I would say 98% of those videos are from my own experience. Y'all have some experiences, you know. Other side is dropping gems, Daniel's dropping gems, you know, Days Around Florida was y'all are all good at something. Y'all all have unique experiences. We're all from different cultural backgrounds, you know. That's your niche right there. All of that is your niche, you know. There's gonna be some things you gravitate to. I gravitate towards cameras. I gravitate towards like motivational, you know, and those are the two things I'm basing this channel on. You know, I'm not gonna be something that I'm not. And Daniel says exactly 100%, and it 100%. I want to be able to talk about the things that I'm passionate about and I'm actually experienced, because when you hear me talk about it, it's not going to be like, well, guys, you know, I had this and, you know, no, I want it to be genuine. And that's why I don't script. That's why, you know, and I may never script unless, like, you know, I'm working with the brand and they want some type of like direction, but they may not align with me because I'm doing these things. I don't want to change that. Even me saying that, it's like, you know, that may not even work. You know, I wouldn't want to partner with a brand that doesn't have doesn't align with what I'm doing. I want to be able to just be myself. You know, I don't want to transform into something and then even y'all as an audience would be like, wait, this ain't Storm. Storm is not doing that, you know? He has never done that. And then what's going to end up happening, you may get some people to watch, but the day ones, the people that are there from the beginning, they're going to look at you like, you know? And that's why when I'm having a bad day and I'm not really feeling it, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. And there's going to be some videos where I'm talking about a camera and I'm talking about my experiences, but those are my real experiences. That's why when I know, and let's say I've used a product and I experienced it and someone's telling me something that I'm like, man, you know dang well that's not what it is, you know? So those are some things I would personally, you know, try when it comes to creating and getting stuck. The live streams, I think if you haven't implemented live streaming into your like rotation, I genuinely recommend you try it. I recommend trying it because it just allows that open dialogue and allows you to feel comfortable. It allows you to just kind of let your hair down and be like, all right, I don't have an idea, but we're gonna sit back. We're gonna just chop it up. I recently realized how much the you and YouTube really means. Now I know what path I will take to create my platform. Yeah, nah, listen. And then Daniel's gonna be live streaming on Friday. When I'm telling y'all, y'all need to do it. It is anything, any step, any change, anything you are trying. You are trying, you know, and that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Other side, you got a couple of ideas for some videos. You got some ideas for some videos right there. Those are some great ideas. Those are some great ideas. Yeah, I only after my live on Friday. I mean, honestly, and I used to schedule. So I'm gonna be completely honest. When it comes to live streams, it's gonna I feel like there's no schedule. And I think, you know, let me tell you why I'm not doing schedules anymore. And we gonna get there. Let me put the music back on. Hold on. Because I have this, so now I know we've been live for an hour because I set this up for an hour. Hold up. All right, we're back. I don't want to forget my point because y'all know I have this crazy, like, I'll be all over the place. But the reason I don't do schedules for videos and for live streams, it put a lot of pressure on me, to be honest. And from a mental health perspective, I went, like, when I used to stream on TikTok, I streamed a lot on TikTok. Oh my God, I streamed so much, you know. And what I realized, and this also goes back to the niching down thing, and I'm gonna tell y'all everything real quick. So, quick story. So I would stream every weekday on TikTok. You know, as at the time I was working from home. And I was able to balance work, and then, but it almost kind of put me in a space where I was expected, you know, and if I didn't show up, in my mind, not the viewers, because the viewers were great, the community was great, but in my mind, I had this feeling where I was like, I needed to be there, and if I didn't, I would let myself down, or I was letting them down. But you know, what I had to say, what I personally had to do is tell myself, you know what, I'm gonna create when my mind is ready to create. It's not, I know that's kind of tough, because like if you become a full-time creator, it's like you gotta kind of have a schedule, and I feel like you really don't. If you're gonna create 5 days a week, make 5 videos. If you're gonna create 2 days a week, create 2 videos. If you're gonna do once a month, once a week, I just feel like you should do it because you want to. You know, you shouldn't feel pressured. And you know, Daniel, I don't want you to feel like I put you on the spot, but that in my mind, I had to tell myself that. I had to tell myself, you know what, I'm gonna create when I feel, because it's gonna come out genuine. I'm gonna be passionate. I'm gonna be comfortable. It's realistic. When I created 7 videos, 7 days a week, it's because I really wanted to. I really wanted to. And I empower y'all to do the same. We all have family. We all have work. We all have obligations, responsibilities. We have to take a break for ourselves, right? You know, we have to come up with these ideas. We gotta practice making thumbnails, working on the lighting and the audio and getting a better understanding how to be a creative. And of course, a creative is going to be able to make content. You know, there's always, but it's like the degree of quality starts to degrade when you put this pressure on yourself. But you know what I like about live streams, though, you know, it allows you to be like, you know what, guys, tomorrow I got this going on, and it allows you to have that conversation right away. Like, I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm not gonna stream tomorrow, guys. I gotta go doctor's appointment. I gotta take the kids here. I gotta do this. You know, you gotta take the wife. You know, that's real. You know, not, oh, you know what, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and then you don't show up. You know, and there may be a time in the future where I may have a schedule, but I feel like for right now, because I'm trying to get better at creating, and I'm trying to, you know, continue this momentum. I've had tremendous momentum from January to now, and I wanna keep that going. And you know, I'm not gonna fight. You know, my intuition. You know, I'm not gonna fight that. I'm just gonna keep going, and I'm telling y'all should do the same. Keep going. Whatever your gut is telling you, that gut feeling like, oh, you know what, I want to make this video. Make the video. You know what, I'm not feeling it today. I'm not gonna make a video today. Going back to what I was saying before, you are in charge. You are the director. You decide what happens here, and that goes back to what other side said about the you and YouTube. It's you. You know, you are doing it. You are in charge of this whole thing here. And I know this sounds redundant, but I went back to basics. Everything's simple. You know, right now in my OBS, I got 2 scenes. I got this that you see, and then I have another scene with YouTube or a web browser. When I first started streaming, I wanted to put these lights, I wanted to put these banners and stuff. And what I realized one day, and this was like 4 years ago, I was like, I accidentally deleted all my stuff, all my files for my scenes. And I just added I was adding my camera, I was adding my game capture or my web browser, and I was like, yo, this looks clean. Like this is, and plus I don't want to put all those resources on my PC because I will only have one computer. But I was like, you know what? This is clean. Less is more. It's simple. Then I didn't have to worry about it. I would just turn on the camera, turn on my light, grab the mic, and I was ready to go. And this is what I'm telling y'all, like, these tiny things, focus on the creation. These little habits. And I'm telling y'all, if y'all get a chance to check this book out, Atomic Habits, it's a great book. It only costs, I don't even remember how much I paid for it. I just bought it and walked out. I actually went, and I could have got a digital copy. I could have got an audio copy, but I went into Barnes and Noble and I was like, I want this book. You know, I was previewing it and I was like, you know what? I wanna start making these little tiny habits. And I started doing it. It changed. I just flipped the switch. And this book kind of catapulted me into creating the YouTube channel. Well, the YouTube channel has been created for a while, but me getting consistent and creating on the channel, you know, and these little things, like I told y'all, the topic of this live stream, these are the little things that on how, and y'all also put me onto some other things as well, are how I deal with like writer's block, how I deal with I don't want to create, how I deal with what I don't want to do anything, or let's say something happens, you know, while I'm trying to create, you know, like I know it sounds so simple, it sounds very like basic, but these are the things. There's no magic trick to just kind of decide to do it. It's like, it's the simple things. And I guess because I'm getting older, right? I'm getting older. The simple things are working for me. And I'm telling y'all, try these simple things. Man, they make it so easy. All right. Speaking of, now I'm going to go like totally off topic, right? And this is why I like having the camera, the tech, the motivational things, you know, because it kind of puts me in that mode. Like, I'm like, all right, but I've been looking at this camera, you know, let me tell you, yeah, less is more. Like, there's so many things that I'm not gonna, most people don't like getting old, but I'm getting a little bit older and I'm starting to want simple things, man. Man, y'all have no idea. I used to be all over the place, man, but the simple things have made my life just so much easier and so much fun, man. Listen, I'm telling y'all. All right, hold up. Let me, I want to show y'all this camera. I want to get this camera. I shouldn't be looking at cameras right now, but listen, there's nothing wrong with looking, right? Let me see. Go to my YouTube. Y'all can see my, let me see. Is this working? All right, cool. All right, this window's working. So I want to, Sony. Okay, and I can see the preview. All right. I want this camera. Like, I legit want this camera. Let me see if I can move my face out the way. Hold on, let me move my face out the way. My MacBook's about to die. Let me move the camera. Like, I legit want this camera. I was like, I'm telling y'all, chat, I was literally gonna go out today and buy this camera. And I legitimately, I wanna understand the camera first, but I think this is a good place for me to start. Also, let me know what cameras y'all using. I'm pretty sure y'all got some pro cameras and stuff like that. But even if you don't, have y'all thought about getting like a prosumer camera or a little bit of a higher camera? And what y'all did? Did y'all like go for it? Did y'all hold back? Did y'all, you know, let me know what y'all think. But I like this camera because the size, the weight, it has in-body image stabilization. It has a newer UI. It takes the bigger Sony batteries. And yes, and it's also a hybrid camera too. So I have tons of options when it comes to lenses. Fujifilm X-T200. Hold on, let's do a quick search. I'm gonna go back to this. We're gonna to the Fujifilm X-T200. Damn, this camera's this camera's cool. Hold up. Wait, did my page just not load? Hello? I'll just go to images. That's the 100. Nah, I'm not gonna lie, that camera's kind of hard. That's an old school. That looks like that gives that old school like. I'm not gonna lie, that's cool. That camera's tough. That's a really dope camera. Autofocus is not so good. Listen, see, that's another. Oh, I didn't even bring that up. Old school vibe, champagne color. Okay. I just like the I could already tell the texture you holding the camera, that metal, that contrast. Sony, I heard Sony cameras have great autofocus. A lot of that stuff with AI, you know, that's that's what all the kids are talking about these days. But I really want this camera. I was gonna go out today and get it. 4K 60. We'll oversample to 6K, but to 4K. I was literally gonna go out and get it. I actually I don't know why I keep getting spam calls, y'all. I just, there's no way to like escape it. I was literally gonna go out and get it. I don't know. I'm gonna do some more research, but I think that's the camera for me. I was looking at the Sony EV Mark II EV. I forgot the name of it, but I don't like the fact that I won't have in-body image stabilization. So like I hate to say it, but Sony, they kind of push you up the price ladder a little bit there, and I don't like. But it kind of makes you just like, when I see things like this, like the prices. I think I saw I know, have you seen the new Boya multi wireless mic? Yeah, that thing is small. That thing is like the size of one of these dials on my Stream Deck. It's like this small. It's like that small. It's wild. It's wild. That thing is tiny. I'm not gonna lie. The only thing, the case looks like a pair of AirPods though, which is not a bad thing. There's another one. Google. I don't like using Bing. You know the name of it? Is it this one? These are tiny, man. If you got the name, let me know. Booyah Kickstarter. Let me see. See, this is why I don't use I use Microsoft Edge because I have a PC. I love Chrome, but I feel like Edge gives me more of a better performance. Let me see images. See, this doesn't work for me. I'm going back over here. Then let me check my email for the name. Yeah, check it. That's fine. Because these mics are tiny, man. Like, look at that. It's the size of the USB adapter. The Booyah Magic. Let me go back into Google, because if I'm gonna get really upset because Magic. I can see the chat over here. I need to charge my laptop. What is this? That's cool. I'm not gonna lie, that's cool. That is, I'm not gonna lie, that's wild. I mean, the small form factor, but that, I'm pretty sure those probably get better audio, just judging by the way it looks. Desktop, you can use it as a, wait, hold up. So wait, you dock both those mics together and they work? Handheld. One tap pairing. Studio audio. It becomes a shotgun mic? Nah, hold up. Nah. I just realized the capsule in the front, like right in this area, like at the top. That's crazy. Clip on handheld desktop on camera. I don't know, DJI. Y'all better step y'all game up. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty fire. I appreciate you showing me this. I saw that first one, but this one I never seen. This is actually pretty dope. This is pretty dope. Not gonna lie. I usually don't do Kickstarters, right? I usually don't do that. But this one might be something to keep my eye out. Yeah, that was my reaction. I'm like, damn, like, whoa. Not gonna lie, that's pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty sick. For something that small? Because, like, where's my DJI? This is already small. This is already small, right? And the Mic Mini is already small too. But this is tiny. That's tiny. That's like 2 vitamins. The guy demoed it on his channel. That's one thing. I would love to try products ahead of time. I would love to do that. I would love to one day try and review products that are like before they come out. Like not even review, but like test them. Even if I don't make, even if I don't make content out of them. You know what I'm saying? Even if that doesn't happen, but he said Bennett Razor. I'll definitely give it a look after the live stream. I gotta jump off in a little bit, but I'm gonna take, what I'll do is once I jump off, I'll put it for watch later, because I gotta head out. 500 milliamp hours, combined battery range, 30 hours. The transmitters are 6 hours. Type C, you gotta have Type C. But where the receiver is, where is this? Is the, because down here it shows an image of a receiver like this. I'm assuming that this is the receiver, this little wand here. I'm assuming this whole thing is a receiver. Booyah makes small ones. I had a Booyah from 2020 and it's smaller than it. Damn, they've been out for that long. I gotta give them a look. I gotta give them a look. I gotta give them a look. Let me see something. I don't want any of that. No way. I had no idea. The world's tiniest microphone. Let's see products. They make headphones, mixers, boom arms. That's crazy. A Booyah. Which one is that one? Oh, you have the one. Got you. I think I remember seeing this mic has AI. Nah, I'm gonna check them out, but I'm gonna jump off, y'all. I got a few things I have to do, but listen, I wanna tell y'all, man. I want to tell y'all, thank you so much for tuning in, man. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. You said I have the, looks like a big pill. Nah, that's what I'm saying. These things all look very small, and I think the only thing that I could benchmark it with is either a vitamin. Like, seriously. But Daniel, other side, everyone who tuned in, Terry, Florida, I appreciate every single one of y'all. If you were just lurking in the shadows, thank you so much for watching. But listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, when you're dealing with writer's block, there's tons of ways just to kind of, you know, put a period on this whole live stream. When you're dealing, there's tons of ways to deal with writer's block. You could live stream, you could just turn on the camera and talk about how you're feeling, or you could even take a break. All these things are warranted. You are in charge, ultimately. I appreciate y'all tuning in any event. Seriously, one more time, let me give y'all one round of applause. Y'all have been great. I'm telling y'all, I really appreciate everything. I'll see y'all on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Do me a favor this weekend, if you haven't checked on somebody, check on them, say what's up, send a text, give them a phone call, because it could go a long way. I'll see y'all next time. Take care of yourselves. Peace.